My so my topic is the emergency response assessment for based on analyst-based discipline of the for the organization. So let's start the overview. So normally, the emergency response assessment is the only one-time assessment. It's not like periodical assessment you have to do within the 1 year or 2 year. So just like one-time assessment, when the incident is happened at the place. So for example, there is an incident happened about a conflict or whatever disaster. So the cluster, we call sometimes cluster level if the incident is very big. But if not very big, it's like INGO or UNs or some other responded agency, they have to prepare for the assessments to find out what is happening in the rescued area or how they gonna respond to this area. So the purpose is to find out the informations in how to say rapid assessments. So they also try to find out the status of incidents, how this incident is worse and how much people are affected in terms of the incident and victim. So what is being organized? So normally we organize two things. It's the internal factor and external factor. The internal factor is we need to know the capacity of the organization, how it's about how many human resources we have to respond the incident and what kind of is this project we are holding at the moment. So something like if we don't have some of the capacity to respond the incidents, we cannot do the assessments because of it. The assessment will be at the end of the day. The assessment will be the waste of the time. And also, is it in project? Whatever, for example, how many is it in project we are holding in our hand? So if we have a too much project, we cannot respond and we cannot give the time to the response. And also the funding availability, whether we have a cost or not, and whether we have a money or not. And also technical situation. For example, the incident is like the victim, they need a water sanitation and hygiene requirements. So our technical scope is water sanitation and hygiene. It will be match perfect, so we can do assessment. If not, something like some agency are only do that, peace building or something like that. So the technical scope is different. So, and also HR resources, we have to prepare for the assessment design. We need to know how many HR resource, human resource we have to do assessment in the field level, and do we need to, recruit the new member to collect the information or not? So this is the first thing we need to know, internal factor. We have to organize whatever to start or to initiate the assessments. So the external factor, what we are organized is the victim location, whether the victim location is where our branch is located, or whether the logistic issue is possible or not. And also type of location. Some of the victims are living with a different type. For example, some are living in the camp, some are living in the monastery, some are living in their related household, something like that. So when the incident is happened, the victim or we call IDP, some internet displaced person, they are dispersed everywhere, or some are collected in the one location. So we need to know the type of the location, and also how many amount of people in this area or something like that. And also how was the situation, and also incident type. We need to know, is that human making conflict, or is that natural disaster, or is there any other disaster happened for the incident? Because of if we don't know that kind of thing, the assessment design will also different. So we cannot collect the same approach and same methodology for the different incidents. For example, the conflict. If the conflict is happening with like the human making conflict or religious conflict, they are the two side ending. like what we are happen in our country, the Muslim people and the Rakhine people. So the conflict is different. So this is a religious conflict. So we have to approach both sides, not only one side. We also need to think about it. It is about the do no harm approach, like a political incident. If natural disaster is different, so the assessment design will be also different. So we need to consider and organize about that information. And also accessibility, whether they are located in the remote, very remote area to collect the assessment. Sometimes the human resource and logistic issue, we need to think about it, whether the assessment could be able to feasible to done or not. And also coordination body. Normally when the incident is happening, there is a coordination body, certainly is it. So like government authority as agency or relief and control department, something like that, they are studying, initiating, and how to say, activate their system in their in this location. So we need to know who is covering this area or who is taking the responsibility. So we have to approach them. Let's say 3W. 3W is about who is doing what at where, something like that. This 3W minimum. So we have to prepare for these being organized before. So why it is being organized? It is not only about the need of the victim, but also the situation analysis. So the things we have to organize to response assessment is, it's not only we need to know about the victim, but also situation and analyze how the situation is very worse. So if we know that situation, we can contribute that information to other sector, like even we are working for the water sanitation and hygiene. When we collect the information, we also contribute some of the valuable facts to the other sector, like the CCCM, like cat management coordination, or something like children assessment, women violence of gender, something like that. So if we found out that information, we can also contribute to the other sector. And also why we are organized that rapid assessment is to fill the gap and avoid the overlapping. So some agency are already respond there during the incident happening, but there is a gap. Still we can find it out because of some agency, they cannot cover all the targeted people and all amount of people, and some agency they only doing like non-food item response, but there is no wash, there is no emergency for the diseases control, something like that. So we can find out the gap, what kind of response we can provide it. And also overlapping. For example, some agency already enter for the water sanitation and hygiene, so we do not need to go inside to do that at same activity at the same area. So that's why we are being organized. And also we need to know the both internal and external factor need to be harmonized to respond. For example, we don't have a capacity, but we would like to respond. This is impossible. So that's why we are organized that activity to happen. So how much being organized? Because of this is the deep level of the how much being organized is a different. Let's say if the incident is a conflict type, we need to consider about the do no harm technique. So something like, because of this is a conflict between two society. So we need to know the do no harm technique to more deeping down. And also natural disaster. Natural disaster is quite simple to respond. And also how much being organized. And also location and accessibility to remote or accessible or logistics. So this indicator is also indicate how based on the deep down level or how much being organized. And the coverage to define the number of targeted victim. For example, if the victim is too much amount, so the level of being organized is going to be huge, and we have to prepare more human resource to collect the information, and especially like the simple side of the data collection and assessment will be the more bigger. because of sometimes the item of the victim type is different. For example, some victims are living in the camp, some are living in their related house, some are living in the village, some are living in the monastery. So when we collect the information, the data variation is different according to their living situation, and also their need will be different. So the deepening level of being organized will be also variated according to the spot level of the situation of the victim living. And also normally, when we do that kind of assessments, we are normally doing data collection methodology is mini triangulation. Triangulation method is consists of three types of data collection. It's about, for example, it's about the survey of the predefined question. So let's say, are you male or female, something like that, and also how many family member do you have, something like that. It is a number of the qualitative information and quantitative information. And also we need to also do the very minimum observation, whether their living situation is good or bad or very worse or something like that. So this is an observation. And also at the end of the question, we also need to know some open-ended question. It's like, how do you feel right now? And what is the most requirement for you at the moment? Something like that. This is an open-ended question. Like it's going to be like it will express their feeling, and it will express their essential requirement due to the incidents. So the data collection methodology is begins triangulation, but according to the emergency response, is going to be minimum as possible because of we have to collect very few and essential information within the short time period, and we have to analyze and produce the product in within 48 hours. So to respond to your emergency requirements. So when it is being organized according to the human rights rules and regulations, the person at the victim who was suffering from the incident has right to get the access of the response within 48 hours. So some are 24 hours. For example, WFB and also emergency rescue is within 24 hours. Distribution of water it has to be 24 hours. But for the non-food item and also the living thing and sanitation, hygiene, something like this has to be within the 48 hours. So what is the problem is if we later respond, the more negative impact of the victim will be the more increased. So we have to respond within the 48 hours. So how and by whom it is being organized. Before we are responding about that, we also have to know the core humanitarian standard. It is the 8 pure core humanitarian standard, which I has mentioned in here. So according to the humanitarian standards, we are not need to respond what the victim doesn't need it. The response we give is also has to be matched with the requirement need by the victim. So this is the core humanitarian standard. Also, we also have to consider their need of the time as also has to be response of the time has to be in line. So how we organize and then when and by whom it's organized is normally within the organization. They are monitoring an evaluation team, same as me. The team we have to prepare for the data assessments and data survey, and normally this monitoring and evaluation team is preparing that part. And also grant team is they have the information about the budget and the funding availability and the donor availability for these to respond these incidents. And also program team. The program team has the program technical person and also what kind of program they are handling in which area. So at least minimum these three teams coordinate each other and prepare the design of the survey assessments. So And the another thing is a fee assessing inquiry. So some of the incident is related with the political situation. So we also have to know there is an authority or not, whether the authority is allowed to assess the fee or not. And this is the security reasons. So this is, we also have to inquiry before respond the assessment. And some of the conflict is under the EAO. You know, EAO is the ethnic armed organization. This is not under by the government. So this is under by the some armed organization. So we also have to approach for the fee assessing requirements, whether they granted to assess in their area or not. So this is the by whom. So we have to approach. And with the another thing is the existence of coordination body or not. For example, as I said the previous slide, whether they already is it coordination body or not, like Relief and Resettlement Department, or some UN agency, whether they already coordinate with some other organization or not. So if the coordination body is already is it, we have to join this coordination body to avoid their overlapping and to avoid the how to say the gap between the need of the victim. And the another one is the most important thing we need to think about is ethical procedure based on the incident type. We don't know what kind of incident type. For example, the incident type is like armed conflict or which is more targeted on the child or woman. So we have to think about it before we do some assessments. So the assessment is, it's a little bit fragile for that people to answer the question. So the ethical procedure has to be, needs to be think about it, need to be organized in after we know the incident types. And also consider co-humanitarian standard. This is quite simple. The co-humanitarian for the INGO, NGO, UN sector, we all have to be keep and follow up the co-humanitarian standard to respond to their assessments. So where is being organized? There is a two area we have to organize. It is the internet preparations for to respond the design, the survey, and also preparation of their logistic and also human resource availability. This is the internet preparation. The external preparation is free data collection. So the data collection must to be area where the victim is located is currently now. We are not strongly recommended to do the virtual assessment, whatever the incident is happened, because virtual assessment is very difficult and to respond to the emergency response, but because at least we need to know the real situation reflected in the real area. So this is where we is being organized. So these are for my presentation for the emergency response assessments. So thank you for attention and time.
Thank you, Krab Mark. It sounds interesting for me to when you use 6 questions of organizing system to analyze the case. That is very interesting case for me. I just ask you something to clarify more details I'm curious to know that you mentioned in the introduction or even in your conclusion that you use the words factors. I'm curious to know that factor is similar to emergency data. I'm curious to know because some external factors you mentioned about, it's quite some kind of emergency data, right? I mean, location, how many victims that they have effect in the incident, something like that. I'm wrong. I'm right or wrong?
So internal factor, it's about the things we need to consider, like availability of human resource, the capacity we have, and the budget availability, So the things we need to consider internally to respond this. External factor, it's about, yes, the incident type and how many amounts of the victims, and also the factor is not like exact data. For example, the factor of uh, where is the incident is located, and the factor of like pre-information about the incidents. So yeah, when the incident is happened, we also have a pre-information, like something like informal information coming to the organization. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So um, based on the context that you told us, I think sometimes we have to react fast and respond quickly, right? Because it's a
Yes.
emergency case
Yes.
and emergency crisis sometimes. And I'm wondering, I mean, for emergency response assessment, it means this system have to deal with many, you say many stakeholders, right? And like
Normally,
you mentioned
yes.
NGO, or
Yeah.
police officers,
Yeah.
and even
So
medical professionals.
yes, when the emergency, one thing is happened there, a lot of sector need to be activated at the same time, because the people need one organization, they cannot provide all the things for the human need. For example, in the emergency situation, let's say UNHCR, they are providing the shelter, and also non-food item, and also CCCM is a camp management and coordination body. So they are counting the people and also registering people where the victim and where the IDP are located. So this is the UNHCR. But UNICEF, they are responding about the water, sanitation, and children need, something like that. Or some INGO, they are responding for the MSF is for the, let's say MSF is for the medical response. So different organization respond for the different thing. And let's say WFB, they are respond for the food rights, and they whether they can cook or something like that. So yeah.
So it means it will be, I mean, more efficient, or I mean more effective when
Yeah.
you deal with, I mean, the crisis or emergency that maybe take longer because like natural disasters or even
Yeah.
human made, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's take longer, right, for the effect, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the last thing appreciate that you use the words you mentioned the words core humanitarian standard.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very good. Rehan as well, I will looking for this to mention you. Every sector, when you organize their information, it means you have to follow the standard that
Yes.
frequently used or commonly used in your sector, right? This is very, yeah,
I
it's very good
think
for me.
it's before, like 30 years or 50 years ago, they don't have that kind of thing. So what happened is some different organizations respond different ways. So the victims are maxing up with the, actually the core humanitarian standard is organized what is the standard and what is the standard procedure all the organization has to be followed. So when the donor give you the money, they're gonna ask, are you follow co-humanitarian standard or not? And do you have a procedure or not? So when we have to show the report and assessments, we have to show the evidence. We are following the co-humanitarian standard, something like some organizations have an ISO level. So in NGO, they also have that kind of things. So we have a co-humanitarian standard. So that's why we do the research design is like this. And also the assessment is like this. So we only respond what the victim is needed, not only what we would like to give, what they really needed. So this is a co-humanitarian standard.
Okay.
It's keeping you in the guideline.
Yeah, great. Mark, whatever happened in the near future, I think maybe especially you are expert in the field and you have a you have a hand-on experience. So maybe when you develop your research proposal, sometimes I think it's I mean I enjoy your story. I mean maybe you just we have a research area about crisis information management or emergency information management. That should be your expertise, and I
Yeah,
hope maybe
yeah,
you can develop your research topics and your research proposal in this kind of area, because you do it I mean in everyday life. Yeah, for your career, I think it's very good. I mean if you have your personal interest in this area, it's quite specific and very
yeah.
interesting.
That's really nice to do because of it is not the normal situation. It's like the fragile situation. So
Mm,
the information management is it's not only about the information management, but also need to consider about the people behavior and the response way, and also fragile situation. So
mhm.
getting information is difficult, and also the response of the people is not same as the normal situation. So this is
Mm.
quite interesting.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. And we have you know non-government non-government system when you organizing the information. And now your Rehan is Rehan's turn. I think
Uh,
it's about in the business sector, I guess.
yeah, actually, it's very. I'm not a prepared as well, but I can tell you about my. It's based on my experience when I became uh, per- auditor in the supermarket. So I'm sorry, I'm not prepared with like a mark with a presentation with
You can
PowerPoint.
share Word document, Rehan. I mean, when uh, you
Oh
can share
yeah,
your submission. Yeah, that's fine.
is it okay to I share with you? With
Yeah, you can share Word document.
oh yeah, okay. The title is the analysis of retail store organizing their layout. So when we come to a supermarket, sometimes we have a plan right now. Like when we want to buy something, want to buy like for daily utilities, like a shampoo, detergent, softener, whatever it is. But sometimes we never realize that the supermarket, they are organizing their rack, their layout is a very proper situation based on our psychology. For instance, like um, if you want to buy something like in daily utilities, sometimes we not realize that we purchase another things like a snack or another equipment. For instance, I think it's based on a stimulus provided by the supermarket. And why is being organized? Shopping satisfaction could be viewed as the entire subjective evaluation of fulfillment coming from shopping. That sometimes it's like a stimulus for the people. Like uh, you know that a supermarket wants to customer to purchase a lot of things, and they want to want you to purchase a lot and spend a lot of money at there. So there something create and study to stimulus our psychology things uh, when we are there. According to Applebaum, like is a very old reference, but this is a very still relevant. There are several essential things in determining customer buying patterns in retail store. And the first thing is a place of purchase, which is mean the rack and the layout. Because they, as I mentioned previously, they want to create a stimulus to customer to purchase a lot of things and spend a lot of money. How much is it being organized? So when we walk to department store, which is mean a supermarket, there are a lot of divisions. So I divided into three division. The first is the grocery division is the comprise of a daily supplementary item, and then non-food division, and also is the fresh division. Fresh is division like a vegetable, seafood, perhaps something like another perhaps a beef, something like that. It's a fresh things is came from the distributor, and then they create the plan of supermarket. Like I have show you that the plan of supermarket is based on the study. They have divided into three division. So to it's based on my experience. I don't have any like don't have any like a standardization, but most of them use the study for the customer behavior. Like when the first time to come in, the fresh division will be behind of the store, because if the in front of the store, it will take a lot of time if we purchase the fresh first. It will be take a long time to take a walk, and then it created unwell uh, the I'm sorry to say so. I'm a little blank because I'm not prepared as well. So some uh, some goods is not to prepare for take a long walk, like fresh division, like a food, seafood, and anything. So they prepare it behind of the department store. When is it being organized? So sometimes the brand, like if you realize that we sometimes we bring we bought goods provided by Unilever, PNG, Nestle. Sometimes they rent places uh, in a supermarket to promote their goods. Like sometimes we saw that in front of a supermarket, like a detergent, they have a promotion because they rent the places in a supermarket. So like this illustration, this is the like the customer perspective. They only look at the in the front of the rack, so it called in gondola. But rack like out in a retailer perspective, it's just like this. They um they see it from the above. So they don't know, they don't want to they don't think about the in front of layout, but they want to produce stimulus to the customer perspective. And how or by whom is being organized? As we see that in a retail organization, there are four broadly division, like administration, store management, sales, and customer service. In administration, is comprised of the uh, supermarket manager, and also like financing, purchasing, and also support staff. And store management is comprised of three divisions, like food, non-food, and groceries, and sales for the promotion, and also the customer service. So like according to Maury, there are two levels of decision making involved in the retail layout. The first is a physical structure of the shop, department, and the rack, and also the distribution of the sales space. And then where is it being organized? So the self layout is within the supermarket. So the layout and the floor plans will be organized in within the supermarket. And according to my experience, is based on the administration division. Like if some what was it? The production sorry, not production, no, the distribution want to rent some places in the supermarket, they will pay rent fee to the administration division, and then create like an gondola, so perhaps like a long table to promote their what is that, their goods or their product. I think it's enough. Thank you for your attention. And I do apologize because I'm not prepared as well.
Okay, no problem, Rehan.
Thank you so much.
I think what you present is, I got two issues that sound interesting for me. The first one is, I said you mentioned about, in the business sector, they care about, customer behavior or customer psychology, right? And then the way we organize information or products in the store space, sometimes it depends on customer behaviors, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot.
I will explain about this. So when I become the prefect store audit by the Unilever, so sometimes the sales or the salesman come to the or perhaps we call the landlord of the owner of the supermarket or the purchasing. Sometimes they have like data about or how much this product will has been sold to the customer. So sometimes we the salesman realize that, oh, I think we need to promote this good because the sale is very low. It's based on their behavior and like the data of the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to share with you with the situation in my countries now. As you know, it just started in July. We talking about the new, the new law they call Personal Data Protection Act. Personal Data Protection Act, or PDPA. That affects the business world a lot because they collect the data of customers, right? Without without consent sometimes. And I think this area, for our field, information studies field, it's quite interesting for me too. Without talking about the privacy, we have a blur boundary, right? A blur line. Yeah, between you use the customer data to improve our business or improve our our benefits sometimes, but it's affect the personal privacy or even customer privacy. And in Thailand as well, especially in the library, archive, and museum as well. Because why? Because when we apply as a library user or department store customers, you have to give them the ID card, right? And they collect your data when you buy something from the department store, and they connect the product you buy with your ID card. Yeah, I think it's very sensitive and very interesting to research on that kinds of personal data protection. Yeah, in Thailand as well. I don't know what will happen because it just started, and to be honest, they just I don't see any changes. in even they ask you for consent, right? and you just have a check the consent, right? You allow them to use it, or even you disallow, but we don't know exactly what's happened, and I can't see any changes in the PDPA laws. I think it's very, for me, it's very interesting to research on this kinds of area. Just you mentioned about, customer information, right? And another thing I want to mention you about your case. That's very interesting, and related to our today's topic in classroom today. We're talking about metadata, right? So in the department store, you have a case. I mean, they have a metadata embedded in products. Right? When you buy something in 7-Eleven, from 7-Eleven, and then they scan some kind of metadata embedded in the products, right? And merge with your, I would say, customer code, something like that, to make up, have a reward point, something like that. And I think
the member card, the member card.
I think this is a member card. I think this is a use of metadata as well. As an information studies student, maybe we know what will happen, right? And now sometimes you not surprised, right, Rehan? Because you can see when you pay at the cashier, and you can find candies, snack, because they research you a lot from the product you buy and your personal data as well. That is, for me, is very, very interesting. But I didn't talk about business information management. No, but by talking about our information studies field in terms of data privacy, and personal data. I think it's very interesting for me as well, especially the new laws. I think sometimes they research you without consent, and Mark, he's gone.
Mark is gone.
And Rehan, do you hear about IKEA or IKEA? Sorry,
IKEA.
Yeah.
It's Swedish thing.
They do have a customer research, right? In the place, they have a CCTV, or even the camera that capture, they
are using a heat
customer journey in terms of user experience. So and we say in the near future as well. I mean, for you, if you develop that thesis proposal, maybe there are many areas in the business information sector, right? So it's quite interesting as well. They have a heat map to capture customer journey around the department store space. That's very interesting too.
I think if it's a very wide context in supermarket, because I was a auditor in Unilever for Perfect Store, so I came to the supermarket, family groceries, but not like a 7-Eleven, like a Lotus.
Lotus.
So they provide us like tools to assess some standard, like the quantity of the product. Like
yeah.
sometimes we not realize that we purchase a product in like 250 milliliters. So they're concerned about it. So like in this month, like August, so they are seeing the product, how much they sold in this quantity, in this product and this type is a very strict. Sometimes I realize that the Unilever has like a standard for this part, like, and after that, and next a month later, or the perfect a year after that, they will they conduct a research based on our assessment, and then create a new product. Like they want to deduct it the quantity, the higher prices, and also we also to find out the competitor prices. So actually it's a very wrong way, because in Indonesia it will be like is like we against the law actually if we do that.
Okay, I got it. Me too. They have some kind of a gap, right?
Yeah.
Between the laws and I will say practical use.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. And as you mentioned, I mean, for the products or services in the business world, they do a lot of metadata. Even they have a product label or product instruction, like barcode, and even product identification, identity sometimes, and even like a snack or food, they have a nutrition label, right? It's a restriction. I mean, some kinds of laws and consumers law, something like that. So this is kind of our field called metadata, right? But but for other fields they call nutrition data, business data. That's fine. We call the same thing with different words of different terms. Okay. And
it's a coincidence.
yeah. Good. Thank you, Rehan and Mark, for your oral presentation. I think I will give you some 5-minute break, and just maybe hope Mark can show up again after the break. Okay. Rehan, see you in 5 minutes.
Yeah. In 10:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mark and Rehan, today we will learn about, the topic called bibliographic description and standards. And for the modern term, we call metadata. So if you, turn on our Google Classroom, and you can see week 4, bibliographic description and standards, all of materials and assignment as well. They appear or show up on our Google Classroom week 4 now. Right. And before we start, I will give you some kinds of, very helpful materials, some kinds of short I would say short introduction, brief introduction for about metadata. And I give you full text or book that you can read later. And Professor Jeffrey explained the metadata concept very understandable, easy to read. So you can find that book on our Google Classroom week 4 as well. Have some kinds of review. We have a book for you and Mark to read later. Maybe you can read for pleasure, right? Read for pleasure. It's not too big, and you can read it, from page 1 to to the end, from start to the end. I think from the beginning to the end, and I think it's very good, introduction to metadata, or in library and information science we call bibliographic description. The archive as well, right? I think in the archive sector we call description. Right?
Oh, description.
Description, archival description. So this is the terms in general that we can use metadata to communicate with other peoples in other fields or other sector, right? In the business, I will say metadata is fine. They understand well about the metadata means, right? The metadata definition. Okay, I recommend you and Mark to read it for pleasure or for hobby, right? It's very
Thank you
good.
so much, Ajahn Samsak, because you always provide us a free ebooks.
Okay, so you can read it later.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and just for today I want to summarize core concepts of metadata or bibliographic description first. So you can click on, if you can't follow my screen, you can click on yourself by click to metadata basics. Metadata basic provide you brief concepts of metadata terms, right? And real practices from library and professional information professionals, practices in library, archive, and museum. We're talking about metadata as well. So just bring you to have a look and in the metadata basics first. And in this package, I will recommend, I will give you some backgrounds that you can learn by yourself later. And they give you 6 topics in this package. And first they call metadata development overview. So you can trace back to the history of metadata in the sector, in the library, archive, and museum sector only, LAM sector only. So that's fine. That is our our specific context that we can learn, but you can apply metadata concept or metadata theory in your own in your own sector, whatsoever, even education, higher education sector, or even like Mark is talking about non-government sector. That's fine. That's fine. Very good to apply. Feel free to apply that concept or theory, right? And okay,
I'm sorry, sir. I have a question. So, metadata is I make it simplify. It's like a data of the data.
Yeah.
Like inventory things.
Yeah, this here. Structure
Okay.
information. Yeah, explain, locate, right? So based on your case and Mark's case, we describe the crisis, incidents, products, and services, right? The product location, right? Oh, but department store will have their own recall directory, right? They call directory. Yeah. So, yeah, but we mean the same thing, but we call different terms with different terms. And we call structure information. Why? Because when we design and develop the database, we have to fix columns or fix fields or optional field, optional elements, right? They call structure. I would say, I mean, even the products, they must have the title, right? Product title, product description. Just Rehan say, I mean, when you buy a bottle of water, they have to describe, bottle size and nutrition label or nutrition data, or even the place that produce, water bottles, right?
Yeah, ingredients.
Yeah, ingredients, something like that. And we call structured information. Yeah, this is a exact definition of metadata, right? Okay, in the context of LAMP only. And yeah, like catalogs, we can find metadata in the library catalogs, museum objects, business products, services, and some kinds of information systems in any sector, right? Finding aids for archive materials. They have some kinds of metadata as well. Catalogs, finding aids, indexes. Index, we have often we say search tools, right? Finding tools, searching tools. Yeah, catalogs, finding aids, indexes. Metadata commonly seen in library, archive, and museum. But in other sectors as well, but they didn't call metadata. They call the data, something like that. That's fine. Okay. This is an overview. There has a long history of metadata in the LAMP sector, and pre-internet era we call metadata, and we have we call machine readable catalog or MARC. If you use library catalog or open access cataloging in the library, they use this standard as well. They call MARC, M-A-R-C, MARC. And I will say this standard will be out of date soon because they have a new standard to take over. we call just for I mean food of thought, food for thought. Big frame. I don't know. Rehan, can you heard this word before? And but for the libraries, they call this maybe 5 years ago now.
Oh, especially is kind of new BibFrame because I only knew the method of to metadata or cataloging like IRCR Anglos and the 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 current metadata or metadata cataloging in Indonesia is RDA, resource description.
And access. Yeah, RDA.
And access. But BibFrame is kindly new.
Okay. So metadata will, I mean, mark machine readable catalog will be out of date soon because they will take over, replaced by BibFrame or even AACR2. Rehan, yeah, good things to mention. And now it's take over by RDA, resource description and access. But BibFrame is quite, I will say, related to linked data or linked open data, LOD. You know, the huge limitation of library metadata, it means we use, I mean, in the library sector only, in the library community only, even library user, they don't know exactly what marks means or, you know, BibFrame mean, you know, BibFrame, sorry, mark or ACR2. We just, you know, have some kinds of our own grammar, our own, our own terms, terminologies, right? It's only library information science students, graduates or professionals that they know the meaning, right? Marks means, but for the people outside our community, they didn't know exactly what this does mean. That's why we try to develop BibFrame or RDA to communicate with the other people outside the library world and try to connect linked open data or LOD. We can learn it later in the future. And yeah, we have I will teach another coursework, but in Thai, they call structure linked data. Yeah, linking structured data for me, a new coursework. But for we teach it in Thai. Yeah. So for mark or machine readable catalog, it means we have to use OPAC or library catalog, right? And use this kind of standard, metadata standards. But for BibFrame, it's okay because we can link to Google results, right? Or yeah, Google algorithms to show up library catalog to the worldwide audience. Yeah, by Google as well. But we can explain later. Yeah, new era, internet era. We have some kinds of many metadata standards, right? And as you can see, if you come from archive sector, we have EAD. Let me here. To be honest, there are many or hundreds of metadata standard in the world, around the world. It depends on the community, the sector, or in the industry that you come from, where you come from, right? They develop their own metadata standard to describe, I would say describe information or data they own, right? In the library, we call, MARC. We have MARC standards and Dublin Core standard. And I will train you and Mark to get familiar with Dublin Core standard today. It's good for, for your homework. That's why I pick up the simple one to teach you, MARC and Dublin Core. And if you come from archive or archival professionals, you should, get to know EAD, encoded archival description. they encode or coding the finding aids with metadata standards. I will focus on only LAM, Library, Archive, and Museum. Sorry, this is my specialty. Museum. If you come from museum sector or you work for museum, you should know CDWA. And Rehan, can you help me to find out the full name of CDWA? Just Googling CDWA metadata standard and spell pronounce
CDWA consider categories for description work of art.
Work of arts. Okay, thank you. Mark will say thank you to you as well. Again, sorry. CDWA comes. What does CDWA come from? Categories
for the description of work art.
Okay, for the description of work arts. Okay, thank you. So how about VRA? This is a very important one.
VRA stands for is a data standard for description of work of visual culture as well the images that document them.
Yeah, we call VRA core because developed by Visual Resources Association. Yeah, the VRA core. So as I mentioned earlier in this class, we have blur boundaries or blur lines between, library, archive, and museum. So when the library tries to digitize ancient image or old materials, I mean like drawings, paintings, right? So maybe the librarians have to cooperate with, museums or, some kinds of, museum professionals and use their metadata as well to describe some kind of digital images. Maybe you can consider CDWA as Rayan called, categories for description or describing work arts or VRA code, something like that. But if you try to organize or describe web page or ebooks in general, right? Maybe you have to rely on Dublin Core or MARC or even BibFrame in the future. So that's maybe now our duty and responsibility now overlap, right? Between library, archive, and museum. Even archive, we have rare books, right? Or manuscripts. And eventually rare books and manuscripts are be served or provided in the library as well, right? In the, rare book collection or manuscript collection. And archive, they have pictures, or photographs. So you have to deal with museum as well or visual resources as well. So we try to, cooperate, and our metadata standard seems overlap. So what I want to highlight, it means when you, sorry. When you develop a database, it means the database you construct or you build up should be compatible. This is very important. Compatible with commonly used standards of LAM metadata. Yeah, this is very, very important information that I want to highlight. Mark and Rehan, when you develop any kinds of database in LAM sector, you have to make sure that the system, the software, the digital tools that you try to develop, or any kind of thing that you call data repository, digital repository, some kind like that. You have to make sure that the things you try to develop or design must be compatible with commonly used standards of LAM metadata. So you can develop with open sources, or you can buy in the product, right? Commercial software for anywhere else. You have to carefully check up that the software, the tools, the repository that you try to develop or to buy or to purchase, they support Dublin Core, support EAD, support CDWA or VRA. That's why for software developer, we use this word. Crosswalks. We try to crosswalk among metadata standards. So this is your job as a library and information professional. You have to know, but no need to know everything, right? But you say, oh, okay, maybe Mark, BibFrame, or Dublin Core can, compatible or be cross across metadata standard, and you should learn a little bit about EAD. Me too, and learn more if you deal with, many digital collections, right? So you have to deal with or CDWA or VIA call, because I mean most digital collections are visual. So that's why you have to learn metadata standards by yourself and try to cross across, do crosswalk or mapping, right? Whatever the word you use, mapping among metadata standards. This is your job as a information professionals or information organizers. This is your job. You have to do that thing. Let me give you some example, like okay, in the library book, I will say book writer, we will use author, right? Rehan and Mark, I try to give you some very, very good example of metadata or crosswalks between metadata standard. In the book industry, we call writer author, right? Or poet, we call author as well. You have author. But in the art industry, whatsoever we call, I mean artwork, right? Artwork, sorry, artwork. Artwork, we call, have a guess, Rehan.
Artist.
Artist. Good try. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Artist. Okay, okay. We mean the same thing. Yeah, we name, yeah, with different names. And I will say in the music.
Musician.
Musician. Okay. Or I will say composer.
Oh, composer, not musician.
Song. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Whatsoever, right? It depends on the industry, the sector you come from, and we mean the same thing with different names. So the good solution for this case or this issue, we have to use metadata standard. And metadata standard try to cover, the people who own or produce, if it says intellectual work, right? Intellectual work with the words. Have a guess. General terms that cover the people or call the people who, produce, write, compose, or paint something for intellectual work. Yeah. We call creator. The common one. The creator. Ajahn Somsak, you very clever. No, no, I'm not clever man. I'm not a wise man. Dublin Core suggests you to use these words, creator, and that cover every aspect, every types of intellectual work. Trust me. Dublin Core, not Ajahn Somsak. Dublin Core, they use that, metadata standard, they call, creator means the people who write books, compose music, paint, there's some kinds of illustration, drawing something, yeah, everything, or even coding the software, yeah, we call creator. Or even product, service producer, and everything else we call creator. And if you deal with other metadata standards, it means, creators equals author. In the library world, creator equals artist in the arts world or in the arts industry, and creator equals composer in the music industry. So that's why we try to use metadata standard, and even standard they call different names as well. That's why we have to do crosswalks or mapping among metadata standards, right? And whatsoever we have to get to know Dublin Core, EAD, CDWA, and VRA. But it's not my job in this coursework. My job is just introduce you to the metadata basics. There's lots of things waiting for you to learn by yourself. And yeah, I just introduced the basic for you. Okay, so you know exactly, right? Now I will say it's like a title, but every industry they have the title, right? Book title, arts title, painting title. It's okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, wait. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, wait.
Then a lot of agents here.
Sorry, I forget to resuming the recording. Rehan and Mark, I will train you how to do your homework. I mean, our homework is about how to create metadata records, right? And just as you can see from Rehan's screen, this is an example of metadata record. Yeah, from Ohio Digital Collections. Okay, thank you. And yeah, from the screen, Rehan and Mark, you can see, you know, in the beginning of our class, I mentioned about embedded metadata, right? We embed metadata into the digital records, right? And together with digital image.
So I need to scroll down.
Okay, let's scroll down. And the metadata we used, I mean, on this kind of metadata record, we call Dublin Core. Dublin Core, D-U-B-L-I-N-C-O-R-E, Dublin Core. The Dublin Core, they just tell us how many core elements that we can use to describe digital image. Rehan, how many elements that, according to Dublin Core metadata standard, how many elements that we can use to describe digital image?
I'm not sure, but based on this,
yeah, on the bold characters, how many? Triple
14.
triple
14.
IF, no. Okay. How many?
13 or 14.
Okay. 13 or 14 is in theory is around 15 elements. Yeah, 15 elements in theory, but in practice you can, yeah, 13, around 13 or 14, right? Yeah, good. And they start with title, right? Every digital collection should have, or digital objects should have title, at least. Even we don't know who's a photographer. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, so that every digital object should have title element, right? The title element and subject. If you have any queries, any question, just ask. And we have place, right? Place that, you know, the aeroplanes have a, you know, show up in the first time in the photographs, on the photographs. And description, I think, yeah, from the archive section or sector, we have some kind of a short background, right? A short history of the description. And again, we just talk about the creator. Right? The creator actually is photographer, right? So they use creator to cover every people that they have a responsibility with the image or with the photographs. Date of original, yeah, and the collection in the library, right? Source. This is our original source. I mean, in the archival box, right? Yeah, archival box. They keep original photographs in the box number 16, right? File 2, item 6. something like that. And we try to digitize that photograph, right, into to become, I don't know, still image, right? They call still image. Submitting institution rights. Yeah, rights statement is very important for digital collection or digital objects. They say online access is provided for research purposes only. Okay. When we digitize something and becomes transform it to be, I mean, digital image, we need a rights statement, right? Here we have to state clearly how to use it. Type is still image. Don't worry about why you choose or why you use still image. If we follow the instructions of Dublin Core metadata standard, they will suggest you to choose some kinds of list or term list to image. File names, file names from original, right? They have a JPG format, right? Computer size, image height, image wide, width, file size. Because we want to know the file size, because just allow the user to know how long they can take to download or show the full size of the picture, right, of the photograph. Searchable date and format is the picture. So now it's your time to practice bring the metadata into your template, or you try to create metadata by yourself now. So you have the record now, right? And you just click on your homework. Your homework on our Google Classroom week 4. Okay, we can just our homework. I already assigned you. Okay, good. And DC template. Okay, thank you. And now you just practice entering some kinds of metadata from the example and create that thing. Okay, the title of the, is this the first power flight, right? I guess. Just click on the. No. At the moment, just use the example we learned previously. I mean, first power flight. Yeah, first power. Yeah. Thank you. And that's your homework, not now. not now. Just train you first. Yeah. So the title is quite easy, right? Because this is just for practice, just for the training. Okay, but for your homework, they didn't have any kinds of Dublin Core elements for you. No.
Okay.
Okay, the title should be first power flight, right? You can copy paste. Okay. The creator. Who's the creator?
Creator is Daniel
Johns T. Sorry to have a pause.
Oh yeah.
In library, we always swap forename and last name. We have to begin with last name first. Yeah, in the Western world. Yeah, Daniel, John T. Yeah. subject or keywords.
All of
Yeah.
it, or yeah.
Yes, and I think we have to separate the subject, yeah, with colon, I think, or only comma. I think only comma.
Only comma,
Yeah,
not,
only comma.
no, okay.
I think.
Expressions like should, like aeronautics.
Mm-hmm. You should erase the birth date, the date. Yeah, it's not not
Only the
suitable
date.
for or only the person name, right? Club. Okay, should be okay. Before we start to describe, or you put the information, the data about description, just let Rehan and Mark to know. You remember our previous homework, library of Congress subject headings, they have,
yeah.
if you wonder or you curious to know this is a good subject or not, or the right subject for you, just click the link to library of Congress subject headings, or even fast from OCLC. Yeah, fast from OCLC. You just click directly to the link. That's fine. I mean from the template. Yeah, from the template, you key in, just click on LCSH. Okay, and they will pop up. Yeah, sure. It's quite easy, right? So you have to check out the subject you use first. Just follow library of Congress subject heading or fast. It depends on you. Okay. It's okay. Maybe it's not. You choose transportation.
Or aeronautics, sir.
But at the moment it's fine. You can check it later.
Okay.
I just recommend you. They provide you a direct link to check up the subject you use or keyword you use. When you have a metadata entry, that's fine. You can. Okay. Yeah, this is a good one. There's many terms that you can pick up.
Narratives, air
Yeah,
travel.
you can pick up. It's a good time for you to make a decision. There's many subjects. Yeah, sure. And Rehan, just get back to the template. Yeah.
Okay.
Just finish our
Okay.
template, right? Okay. Now the next element is description.
The description we should.
Okay. Mark, if you watch it later, the example that Rehan tried to practice is already prepared with the data, but for homework, no. You have to make a decision on your own. Not easy like this. Okay.
I want to ask about this metadata, sir. The metadata is based on is a relative based on the auditor, right, sir? Like the LCSH or
yeah, good question. The metadata you try to describe come from the object, the work, the intellectual work that you just choose from from the data that's appear in the object or in the work that you describe that metadata. But the title, creator, subject, description, or even publisher, we call elements of fields, right? In the computer science, elements of fields that if you choose Dublin Core metadata, they suggest you to 15 elements or 13 or 15 elements, right? Core elements. That's fine. But your job is you try to choose the data or you key in the data that's directly come from the intellectual work. That's your job. And believe me, you will be always hesitate. You got hesitation. Yeah, me too. You have to make a decision which metadata or am right or wrong, or I pick the right data. Last time I mentioned about classify, right? OCLC classify. You have to check call number or even subject with your colleagues around the world. That's good. In real life, you have to make a decision by yourself, and that's why this template give you some kinds of link to VIAF. Rehan, link to VIAF to check the correctness of personal name, corporate name, agent name. You can check VIAF. This is a good one. I will say for Indonesian writers or Indonesian creator as well. I think you can check from from the IVF headings or personal name, corporate names, works name. There's a lot. Yeah, I guess so. You can check the personal name. Yeah, from the countries that they join. Yeah. Personal name. Okay. That you can learn by yourself. And I think the purpose their purpose that they try to give you links, direct links to VIAF, Library of Congress subject headings, or fast headings, because of they just allow you or advise you to check it first, check the term you use first, and you have to make a decision. And trust. Believe me, every catalogers, every metadata professional, they have their own hesitation. The more you do metadata, the more fluent that you get. I can't give you any shortcuts or any secret or DNA code to help you to do quickly. No, there's no shortcut. It depends on your own experience.
So it depends on the librarian or the auditor determination.
Yeah, but in real life, if you have responsibility to, digital image, so maybe 1 month or 2 months, you will get familiar with the digital image, properties or attributes, right? So you can key in metadata entry easily, because you know well now. You get fluent. you get fluent with this thing. Okay, Rehan, get back to the template. Okay, publisher. Publisher. I will say for this example, publisher should be submitting institution. Yeah, I guess. And again, you know, they use submitting institution, right, rather than publisher. Again, they mean the same thing with different names.
For contributor, it should be the creator or
The contributor should be if you can't find them, just leave it blank.
okay.
Yeah.
Date,
Date.
the date of original.
Yeah. Date December 20, 1903.
For contributor, it's just like editor, like an author and editor in the books, sir.
Yeah, sure. Rehan, for the date, they suggest you to use only number. So yeah,
so
this is a this is a Dublin Core standard. So
okay.
1903-12. Yeah, good.
17.
Yeah, you have to convert.
Yeah.
Okay. Type. Recommend to you now. You have to click out to the CMI type.
Oh.
Yeah, lots of data type, right, or term name. So what do you think? What vocabulary to use to describe image? Thank you. Good.
So then I'm trying
right. It is cover photographs. Yeah. Good. Image. Yeah, good.
Type is.
You have to follow the this one. Image. Only image. Yeah.
Only image.
Image. IMG. Okay. Thank you. Even the example, they have their own terms, right?
Yeah.
You have to, for our homework, you have to follow Dublin Core.
Okay. The format.
Format. Okay. Again, follow media type. Media types. Okay, just scroll down. And available format is sorry, it's so quick. Just scroll up. You know. Okay. So scroll up again.
I think it's all about application.
I think image. I think image.
Yeah,
it should go to image.
It's audio application. Image.
Image. Yeah, it should be image, and I will say
it's JPG.
JPG. Yeah, JPEG. Yeah, now at the moment JPEG. Good, and you just key in the format of Dublin Core template. Get back to Dublin Core template.
Oh.
Okay. Format is JPEG, right? JPEG. Yeah. Good. Identifier, URL. Yeah, just copy ohiomemory.org. No.
This one
on the URL. Yeah. This should be the things. Identifier. Okay. Source. Just look at the example source. Audio visual materials. Yeah, this is original source. I mean, source means original source. Okay, almost done. Language. click on ISO because we don't know ENG or EN, right?
Okay. ISO.
What they suggest, ENG or EN?
English. English, anglais, is it Dutch,
EN.
is it French, EN?
EN. Okay, good.
EN.
EN. Relation, if you don't know, just okay, just leave it blank.
Coverage.
Coverage, if you don't know, or I will say, coverage means place and time. Place and time. Place, that's Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, that's just fine. There's only one, for example. Okay, Dayton, Ohio. Rise. Right statement, just copy the right statement.
Right statement is be
yeah.
this.
Here,
Okay.
yeah. And now, okay, almost done. So before you before you press the submit, before you press submit, just have a look at the, scroll down. They have a preview as preview up. Yeah. Okay. Have a look first. Preview as HTML, preview as XML, preview as RDF, XML, preview as RDF total. I recommend you to look at the preview as RDF XML first because it's quite popular for the metadata, and submit. Okay. Done. And this is your homework, and you have to do 3 records.
3 records.
records. Yeah. And done. This is the metadata codes that you generate from Dublin Core template. Yeah, this is your work now. Okay, have a look. As you can see, mark from right-hand screen. If you can see the DC, right?
Yeah. Dublin Core.
Dublin Core RDF XML. On the top, they will have a RDF, right? Yeah, RDF XML. This is another popular standard in the world, right? We call W3, World Wide Web Consortium, W3. And look at the DC from, yes, Perl, PURL.org. Yeah, XML. DC come from Dublin Core, right? And they have a colon title. Title means core elements, right? So Dublin Core suggests you have 15 elements, right? But if you can't find any data, to key in this template, that's fine. Don't make by yourself. don't yeah. Don't fake. Don't mock up. No, just look for the data that's appear in the work only. So if you can't find it, just leave it.
Okay.
Yeah, leave it blank. Leave it blank. That's okay. And look at the each element. In each element, they have a DC colon title, right? Open and close, right? Open and close. Left hand side is open, right? Right hand side is closed. Close blank. Yeah, close blank. And again, yeah, on the right hand side is backslash, right? It means close, yeah, close blanket. Okay, this is your, I mean, your work now. Become your
Yeah.
record now. Sorry, your record, your metadata, your metadata record. And your homework, I will give you a link, and you can pick up 3 works, right? 3 works to do, you know, XML format or RDF XML. It depends on you, but don't think too much. Maybe, yeah, again, in real life, there's no right or wrong. So in real life, it's just about hesitation, decision. Is it okay? It's okay. And what I just look at should be personal name. You have to check up VIAF or not, and subject, right? Subject headings, you check up the Library of Congress subject heading or OCLC fast or not. Date, right? Year, month, day. You have to follow, ISO standard or not, right? So make sure that you click links that the template provide you, the links, right? So you just check, check ISO, language, format, and type. Yeah, I will grade your work based on the standards that you check up or you use. Rehan, you okay? You understand my instruction now?
Oh, yes, sir. It's
Okay.
quite clear. Thank you so much.
Okay. Don't worry about blank element. Don't worry. But
Okay.
just try to make sure that you follow the standard. Just by checking up or click the links, direct links to the standard that they offer you or they suggest you to check out first. And you have 3 works to finish.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Great. And you have to, print screen or save as PDF file and send, and send me to the Google Classroom homework. Yeah.
Okay.
3 files, right? Because we have 3 works to choose.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I understand.
Okay, and I hope you enjoy the class and enjoy the moment that you have finally you have a face-to-face meeting with our colleagues and your friends and our staff. Okay, and if you have any issues or any problems about our homework, feel free to contact me. I will reply immediately. Yeah.
Okay.
Crap.
Thank you so much, sir.
That's it for today. See you next time. Maybe on site. I
hope you're on site.
Okay, crap. Rehan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Oh, yes, sir. I have a question, but it's not about our subject. So you will be teaching qualitative, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're
the
right
first
now.
semester. Yeah. Parallel to this coursework.
Oh, yeah. So in the next semester, you will teach qualitative again, or?
It depends on our student to request. If you can talk with your friends and okay, we want to learn qualitative research methods next semester, maybe I can, we can solve it out. But if you can wait, that maybe next academic year, because we open only first semester, but it depends on the student. If they have you have a request and you let Ajahn Muk, Ajahn Tipaya to know, that's fine. We can solve that request.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
okay.
Thank you so much for today.
Okay, pleasure. And see you next time.
See you next time.
And Mark. Bye bye.
Bye bye.